Hi everybody. So I'm just going to wait for a few of you to give me a few waves.
I'm waving.
Are you waving?
I'm waving.
So we'll just wait for a few of you to join us. Give us a few waves, let us know that you're here. So we know there's a 30-second delay. As usual in the Sugar and Crumbs kitchen is John on the iPad and Maria. Hopefully John hasn't got his finger over the sound. John, that was a big hint. Hopefully you haven't got your hand over the sound, John.
No.
Not now.
Professional outfit here, you know.
And we've also got Maria in the kitchen as well. And I've just realised it's dark, so watch this.
Oh, way up, lights going on.
Lights going on. Just realised.
Get some light on the subject.
I've got the pleasure of bringing Dawn Butler with us tonight to show you how to use the cake frame. And Dawn's company is called Dinkydoodle, and it's because she's dinky. Have you seen how little she is?
I need a box, honestly, tonight. I feel very small in this kitchen.
So I'm actually not doing anything tonight. Dawn is doing all the hard work for you.
She's not doing anything tonight.
Dawn's doing all the hard work for you tonight with Cake Frame, and I have agreed to be a little Joey.
Big Joey.
At the last minute, so you won't see much of me, but I have got my iPhone on and I'm going to help John with any comments. We've got Louise Brimlow helping out with comments as well. So a big hi to Louise. Louise actually knows Cake Frame and Dinkydoodle very well. So you do know how it works. There's a 30-second delay before we can see your question. Okay, so we have to see your question and then we get a chance to answer it. If anybody else, you're all here every Monday night, you all work as a community, which is fantastic. Ask each other, you know, let other people respond and they'll all help you out. I've opened up a new category on our, are you trying to stand tall?
Yeah, I'm trying to feel like
I've opened up a brand new category on our Sugar and Crumbs page, and it's called Cake Frame and Dinkydoodle. I put it all together so that all Dawn's products are together.
Perfect.
So let's, do you want to tell them what you're going to make tonight?
Yeah, without further ado, we'll kind of get over to this guy. So this is our 3D stood up cake mummy. He does have a special surprise inside for trick or treat. He's perfect for Halloween. What you're going to learn though tonight is the fact that we've got a structure going on, how to make this big bobblehead cake that's on the top. I thought a mummy was actually really easy to cover because we're not covering an awkward shape with one piece of sugar paste. We've actually got strips here. This is something that the kids can get involved in as well. So it's really something nice for Halloween to get sort of stuck into. As I said, we've got a secret surprise in here. We're also looking at using lights. We've got some lights going on there. Again, if you've never tried a structured cake before, then it's something to have a bash at just there.
Well, I've got to be honest, I'm looking forward to that myself.
Oh yeah.
I've never done one.
So it's going to be good fun, but again, kind of nice and simple really to get our teeth stuck into. So whilst it looks complicated now, you'll go, ah, well, if that was all there was to it, then I'd have done something about it sooner. So again, it's a nice introduction to Cake Frame. There's a bit of airbrushing going on there, but yes, whilst that's basic, whilst I'm here, we might as well have a bit of a free airbrushing demo as well. I also, was she looking forward to? You see, Carol thinks she wasn't getting involved, but she did say to me this afternoon, can I have an airbrushing class? You're going to get it live, kids. You will be airbrushing in front of the nation.
I've always been scared of that though.
Everybody's terrified of it. Everybody's terrified.
Every time I've looked at it and I thought,
it's smaller than me. I don't know why people are scared.
Yeah.
Also, the Cake Frame bundle that we've put together does more than one thing. So we've put kind of a bit of a bundle together, used a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of that. And I want to show you how versatile it is. So if you look over this shoulder...
Louise just joined.
Hello, Louise!
So after making an announcement of Louise...
she wasn't here.
She wasn't here.
We were waving and cheering and singing your praises, Lou.
So
Louise... It was all missed.
You're late.
So Louise, who is late, has now arrived to answer questions.
Yeah, bless her.
Okay, no worries. So let John tell you about the products that we've got here for sale tonight. So just get John to come on round.
Come over here, John. Okay, so basically it's the standing figure kit, not a git, it's a kit. We're going to be using a standing figure kit which gives us our height and our structure. Whilst it's called the Minion Kit, it is so much more versatile than that, so there's loads to it. But we've also got arms and legs going on there, so we've got a special pack which is the cross and Y joint. It's a new joint of mine, so that's really cool. We've also used some of the parts from the starter kit. So whilst you could go and buy a set of rods or this or that or the other, by the time you bought all those bits, you might as well have just bought that.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to show you tonight is what you could have, I sound like Bruce Forsyth, what you could have won. Because you could use so many for other things. And I'll show you what's left from the kits so that you can keep going. The airbrushes, ladies and gents, you have not been able to get hold of these for a few months. They are back in stock and Carol has them. So please, they are like rocking horse poo. Get your hands on an airbrush. You've put together a kit for us, haven't you? So we've got the black airbrushes and we've got the hot pink.
Yes, we are.
So please specify when you order which one you want.
Yes.
And we're doing a little set of colours. So these are the water-based colours and I'll take you through them all. We're using yellow and brown tonight. If I move that one out of the way for a second, we're doing a nice little set and a cleaning solution. It is the most popular ones. And these are the nice simple water-based, but I'll show you how you can use them and how to get the best out of them. And as a Brucey bonus, God, we are on Bruce tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
As a Brucey bonus, this was a demonstration that I did for Sweet Success. Love Sweet Success for Bits. They provide me with all my cake. So I did this as a demo. If you bought the bundle cake frame kit tonight, on Saturday there is a tutorial coming out in this and it uses the same kit as the one that's available tonight. So you can
That's amazing.
And this is all cake. All of that is cake.
I think I'd have to give that a go.
It's good fun. Yeah, it's good fun. But we're going to start with our mummy tonight with a Halloween themed. So, the other things that I've used, I've already pre-baked my chocolate cake because you don't really want to watch me baking a cake. And I've used the chocolate lime with that one.
Yeah.
And then we've got a lime buttercream because I think chocolate and lime will look really good. I think the lime is great for Halloween in terms of being inside the cake. So that's really good. So we've used that tonight. We've pre-made all those bits and pieces. And I've pre-made some ganache. Now what I will do for everybody tonight is we'll put a link on your website for everything that I've used. So for instance, that you needed X amount of sugar paste, that you needed X amount of buttercream, and everything that we've used will all be on there. Also, once this is finished, I know that Carol and John make this available for everybody, but I've got the Cake Frame Club. The Cake Frame Club is free to join, and every other week I put a tutorial on YouTube for free to watch. Now I filmed myself making this at home, piece by piece, and again all the bits that are on there that you need, and that will be launched in a couple of weeks' time. So you will be able to catch it in the future and watch it to your heart's content.
And do rewind.
And if you really want to watch me that much, then yeah, go for it.
In case you missed a bit.
Well, yes, in case you missed
Forget
it.
to put an arm on.
And you never know, this one might be more entertaining because we might completely get it wrong. Who knows? John asked me a couple of seconds before we went live, right, do we know what we're doing? No. I haven't got a clue. We'll make it up as we go along because that's what you're watching for. So I think we're about ready to go.
Well, we are. So we've got a couple of shout outs. John, do you want to roll
We've got 171 people watching us at the moment.
We'll shout out to all 171 of you. Thank you very much.
Oh, right. I'll just run back through a few. We've got Mary Williamson, Sarah Williams, Sarah Webster. We've got Louise, Sally McCornack, Angela Knowles, Valerie Swarbrick, Susan Freeman, Sarah Williams, Wendy Ann Preston, Arlene Barton, Martin Dursley, Sarah Ham, Sarah Saunders, Sarah Williams. I think I've said these names a few times.
Yes.
Robert Allen has joined us.
Good evening, Robert.
Joanne.
Well, there's lots of regulars
Joe,
on there.
Louise, Joanne, Salma. So sorry if we've missed anyone.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say hi to all of you individually. John shouted you out. I don't know whether there's any questions. Is there any questions so far, John, before Dawn gets cracking?
Not at the moment, no.
None at the moment. Okay, are we ready to go?
Yes, we are ready
And what
to
do you
go.
want this big Joey to do at the moment?
Well,
Get out of the way.
in the moment, yeah, you can sit down and chill. Sit down and chill. It's absolutely fine. So, let's get started. As I said, we're going to start with the Minion kit. So basically Cake Frame, if you've never seen or heard of it before, Cake Frame is my little invention, it's my baby. And it's a food grade plastic structural support system basically. I'd love to be able to put on the packaging that it's Meccano for cakes, but Meccano won't let me. But it's that kind of idea. You're going to slot everything together and depending on the configuration that you put, depends on what it is that you're going to make. So it really is very versatile. Now it's also completely reusable. And you can pop it in the dishwasher. So when you've finished with your structure, if you want to, pop it in the dishwasher, use it again and again and again and again and again. However, if you've got a business and you're running a business and you want to deal with Cake Frame, then actually cost up the parts that you've used and then let them go and buy replacement parts, because you can buy everything separately too. In fact, if I remember, on the sheet, and somebody, you can write it as a comment at the end, Dawn, you promised, because then I've got to do it. But on the sheet that I write that says what I've used, I'll tell you what I'll do, is cost up the amount of Cake Frame parts that you've used and work out how much you've spent. Because then you'd know what you would charge for that cake along with all the other bits and pieces. And you'll see that whilst the bundle or whatever, what were we doing a bundle for, Carol?
The whole bundle should be $58.99 and you're doing it for $54.
So you're lobbing some bits in there as well. But you'll work out that actually you've spent about 15 quid.
Yeah, and also anybody who orders tonight, we're throwing a key lime and a chocolate lime if they order tonight or by lunchtime tomorrow. And anybody who orders through the week, we're just throwing key lime until next week. Just an incentive. I might even go mad and throw in something else yet.
I think you need to lie down, Carol. Lie down quick. Before you give anything else
John's doing the eye contact.
I know, yes.
I need a seat.
Yes. Okay, so let's get started with the structure. Now, if we take a look, John, if you wouldn't mind, back at our mummy, you'll see that it's stood there quite happily, and it's got the head is the bit that's full of cake.
Oh, we're going to throw the lights in.
Oh, we were going to throw the lights in. Yeah, so the light up eyes are getting thrown in for free. Nice. John, stop sweating now, you'll be pleased to know. So, the mummy basically, his head is what is the cake. And in order to support that, we need a nice structural support system going on the inside. Could John, if you come back to me over here. So we're actually going to start our support with the head. And the reason being is this. If I started at the bottom and connected, what these are is the foundation pieces. They're the ones with the threaded rod at the bottom. And if I connected the threaded rod here, by the time I got up to the structure and tried to put that on, what I might well find is that the hexagons aren't lined up properly, and then I'll start to struggle. So we actually start our structure with the head. You place one through one of the holes, take the blanking caps, really important, there's a hexagon, and then there's a flat circle. Flat circle goes to Cake Frame, like so. I'm left-handed. I'm trying to do it this way so that camera and that camera catch me, but I'm not being very successful. Pop the other one through, and basically these supports will form supports that are inside the cake, in the head, just to stop it from going anywhere. Okay? So that's how we start, and you end up with like a little table. From there now, I'm going to build the body, but you must remember I'm working on it upside down. So, I am now going to start adding little bits from another kit. So this is from the starter kit, this is from the rod selection pack, and this is the short rod. Each rod has a male and a female ending. I'm actually not allowed to say that, you know.
Are you not?
No, what I'm not allowed to say male, female, I've got to say positive, negative.
Oh, have you?
What I don't get is why is the female always negative? What is that all about? What's that about, John? John, what is that about?
John would agree.
Yeah, same with my husband. Hello, all of you watching. Right, that one's going in there and push it down. Now in a minute, it'll all become clear, but what supports the arms is that cross and Y joint that I mentioned. But I don't know whether you can see from here, but the cross and Y joint don't take up the same amount of space. So they won't allow me, if I put another short rod in here, they actually won't be even. So what I need to do is something else, and it's a little bit of clever jiggery-pokery. When you understand Cake Frame and you understand the measurements of each of those parts, then it helps you start guiding which part I'll need where. So what I actually need in this set of circumstances is a connector is great for giving me my height adjustment, but a connector is the female-female, so it's not going to work. So I take an adapter out of the Cake Frame starter kit, pop that in place, and now that will sit on top. You'll see that they're different heights, but they're different heights for a reason, because remember that these two took up different heights as well. So, which arm's going where? That one's going that way around. You notice how I've got it into a little bit of an angle, it's going off on an angle. Inside here is a core that's a hexagon shape, and it's a locking mechanism. It means that an arm that's here can't rotate with cake on it, it's stuck and it's locked.
That's a good idea, isn't it?
Clever, isn't it?
Yeah, clever idea.
No, my head's full of cotton fluff. That's all that's in this head. But it means that if I've got it in one direction, all I need to do is actually just lift it out and redo it. However, I can very, very gently, until it's all the cake is in and everything else, just simply twist and turn, and now I've got that going straight on. In this one, we're going to put the cross joint. It's worth mentioning that the joints come in half. And the joints come in half. It's got nothing to do with my manufacturing cost, she says. It is about 20 grand cheaper to produce something in half. But it also means that I can put lighting, wiring, ribbon, anything that I want through Cake Frame, because I can feed it through, then clamp that round, and then I can pop it in the cake. So I'm going to push my other joint in there now. Can you now see, look, that actually they're at a much, much more even height. Now we're going to start building the legs. Remember, we're upside down, folks. So, 2 long rods. So these are the longest rods that I do in the pack. And they're on like so. And then this is the remainder then of the Minion kit. So this is 2 medium foundations. By the by, even if you're not planning on making something that stands up, this is the only kit that comes with 4 foundation pieces. You cannot make a piece of cake frame without a foundation piece, because it bolts stuff together.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's 4 in one pack, even if you want it for spare parts. And the medium foundation, let me show you the other 2. So in your starter kit, you're going to get a short foundation and a long foundation. Okay?
Remember to look at him.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. So, short foundation and a long foundation. You caught my eye all of a sudden. I was doing ever so well to start with. The long foundation I use when I'm doing things like the pouring kit, or something where my gravity is up high and I need as long and as structural support as possible at the base. The short foundation I use when I need to take something off at an angle straight away, or I want to use it to bolt a platform in place. So they're great. That one you need to add rods to it to make a standard height wedding cake height, and that one's too long. Those I've had measured to be exactly the right height for a wedding cake, and you've got 4 of them. So if you take a 6-tiered wedding cake, you're never actually going to start with 1 support in the middle. You'd probably start with 4. Well, they're there for 15 quid, along with the baseboards and everything else that you need. So these I use loads. Anyway, we're going to whack those on the top. So you now see that you've got your structure and it's started to line up. All I now need to do is take the baseboard and place it upside down. Tie on my lock nuts. Always a 1/4 turn backwards, folks. 1/4 turn, you'll feel the thread. You'll feel the thread. Take a grip. She says, now that you stick the camera on me, I can't turn them off.
Right, a few people have got a bit lost with all those instructions.
You don't need to get lost with instructions, okay?
One says, Debbie Hallett says it's double Dutch to her.
Yeah, Debbie.
Wendy Preston said, can we send it ready-made?
Yes. Okay. When you follow the tutorials and everything that I've done that's on YouTube is done, use this, then this, then this, then this. All you need to do is have the parts in front of you.
Yeah.
Follow the instructions and away you go. And you know, it's quite confusing for people when they sit and watch it and they've never had a go. But you know when it's in front of you and you're building it, it makes perfect sense.
Well, I was just going to say, I think listening to you, it sounds more confusing than it actually is. But I think that's because you're using the big title names for what they're called.
Yes.
Whereas I think if we just stuck them all together, that height, there you go.
Yes. And that's the way
But you're
it is.
giving all the correct words for it.
Well, also, if I didn't explain it, I'd still lose
Exactly.
you. Because you wouldn't know what I was using. 2 long rods that are left. Structure's finished.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you can turn that upside down and it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
That's your structure.
Yeah.
It's lightweight, it's food grade plastic, and that's it in a nutshell. It's done, basically. Okay?
Show people the finished cake again, just
Yes.
so they know what they're trying to get to.
So can you now see, there's the arms that are
Don't
sticking
forget
out.
what side is.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring that one.
Yep.
Okay, you got that? So, here's our legs. We're going to do something in the middle in a minute to fill out the body. But there's an arm, and here's the support, which is going to help the head for the cake. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to get together.
Yeah? Done and dusted. And it took us a couple of minutes. If I were to go to a certain DIY store and try and build a structure, I'm going to certainly spend a lot more money than the 15 quid or whatever that we've got it for sale at, and also a lot more time. So let's try and reduce our hourly rate, shall we, from 50p to at least 75p.
Well, they're liking it. They're liking it, which is good.
So now we've got it. Brilliant. Now comes the easy bit. So basically, we're going to plonk our cake on. Now, don't do...
You said it made sense once you got it over there.
Yes.
So what they're saying is once you put it there, they realised it made sense. While it's like that, they've no idea what
Well, I was also building it upside down, don't forget, folks.
Yes.
But you have to build it upside down.
So we're getting all the thumbs up.
But now we're getting it. Good.
Somebody said, so clever putting that together upside down.
It's how... Guys, I've just thought about this, as in I've made all the mistakes first.
Yeah.
So before I came out with the product, I was like, right, well, how would you build it? How would you put it together? Yeah. And the first thing I used to do was build it from the bottom on this particular structure. Yeah. And realised when I got to the top that I couldn't put they were in the wrong place. Yeah. So I've learned, that's all. Yeah. Now, I deal with rather large slabs of cake, because the cakes that I make are massive usually. So I've cut mine, and I use the 6-inch platform to cut. I shouldn't have done that. John, if you swizz right back round to the mummy, can you see that his head's actually quite round and fat? So you could have used hemisphere tins on that one, but it's larger than a 6-inch at its widest point. And at its smallest point, it's probably about 4.5 to 5 inches. So come back round again. So the kind of stupid mistake that I made was not thinking about it when I was rushing out the door, and I've cut my cake at 6 inches. So you might have quite a long, elongated, more like a Frankenstein head. But hey ho. However, Lou Brimlow, thanks Lou, did rescue me with a slightly larger cake this morning.
Oh, did she make it for you?
Bless her. Lou Brimlow, who happened to be on the Great British Bake Off, by the way.
Yeah. Let me just say, do you want to just tell everyone that Louise is doing links to the Sugar and Crumbs website for us?
Oh, bless her. So, basically, Lou is busy away kind of answering questions, and she's also putting links to all of the Sugar and Crumbs website stuff. So when things are on Sugar and Crumbs, she's linking everything through to there, so all the products and everything else. And any questions you've got with tutorials or whatever, then she'll link through to YouTube and whatever. Yeah. Okay. But thanks, Lou, for the cake. Yeah. Much appreciated.
It looks very good.
So, I'm actually going to start with the larger cake. Hand underneath, hand on the top, and basically it just punches out 2 little holes of cake. Was it good, Lou? I hope it was, supposed to be eaten. No, it's good. Good cake. So, that's all it punches out. So we're not looking at putting dowels in a cake after we've made it. We're basically making the cake on the structure. Yeah. Okay? And I'm just going with one larger one so you can see that the head hopefully will take a little bit of shape. Carol, please may I now have the bowl of buttercream?
Do I need to repeat a bit?
I think it should be fine.
It's actually fine, actually. This is very nice and luminous.
It is. So we've put the lime green colour splash on there.
And
I've used the key lime. It's gorgeous.
John, look at the key lime. It almost the tube in front, exactly the same colour.
Yeah.
Tubes. So that's how really good. Can tell how realistic it is.
And we've gone with the usual recipe that Carol suggests on the back of the packets, and we've gone with the key lime one. So I should have another palette knife somewhere. Sorry. Reaching across you. Plonk some of that on place. Spread it about a bit. Now, quite often when I do carving, I won't fill it first. But in this instance, it's nice and secure, and I know it's not going to slide anywhere. Quite often, if you put jam and sort of buttercream in there, and then try and carve something, it does slide. But this is going to mean that everything's all right. And you can really get hold of this, to move it about and manipulate it.
The question, does the cake have to be firmer than normal?
No, I don't think it does. But if you're dealing with a lot of rods in the middle, if you were putting your wedding cake on and you've got 5 rods to go on, then I would suggest that you deal with that cake chilled or frozen, just to allow you some support. And basically it's all about that hand underneath and then down. The other alternative to do is to keep the cake where it is on a surface, take a platform as a template and now push down the rods into the cake here so that I'm not risking it breaking and bending. Then when I go to lift it, you can either waste a platform and it sits on the bottom and you never see it again, but it's allowed you to lift the cake, or at least you've now got your holes in that cake and it's easier to guide on. So 2 ways of making holes basically. But no, don't worry about the firmness of your cake. On goes the next one. Push down 2 holes. Now, we've finished with our supports, as in they've not gone any further. If my cake was going, you know, a massive amount of a big tower, like Abraham Lincoln hat, let's say it was wearing, then I would simply, with the rods that I had left in the rod selection pack, I would continue building that. Yeah. Let's say that it was a creature that had got incredibly long legs and it was body and head that needed to go on here. Then of course your structure is going to continue. Yeah. Simple as that. But the minion kit ordinarily is just this set of legs down at the bottom here, and then the platform's all the way down there. But the same kit allows us to do all sorts of stuff.
I was just going to say, it's just about thinking about the size of the cake.
So how do I design a cake? When I'm designing a cake, take the outer image of the cake that you have in mind. Let's say that you know you've got to build an Angry Birds or a Minion or something that's something well known and recognised. Take the image and start drawing on it. Well, where would I put a platform? Where are my legs going to go? Where is that going to go? And it starts to give you an idea of, well, I'm going to need an elbow joint, aren't I? I'm going to need a whatever. And then what I suggest to people is that actually when you haven't got a cake order on, take Cake Frame out and build it. Or put it on the table near your husband and they start building stuff for you and going, did you know I could do this?
Unless you're married to John.
Do you know, well, when I first invented Cake Frame, I gave the prototypes and I put them down on the table just to see what would happen. Within 3 minutes, my kids had built these great big guns and they were seeing how long that they could get the front of them. Paul had built something else with it. So it starts to create ideas going. And to see whether it's going to work or not, we've all got tins of beans in the cupboard or packets of icing. Actually weight it down with that. Is it going to fall over? Is it going to do this? Because at the end of the day, bless them, it's a good piece of kit, but you still need to pay attention to the laws of physics.
I'll stand behind John.
Yeah, no, so I can talk to, I know. Well, it's like we're having a conversation. It's like you're really here, Carol. Right.
I am, but look at John.
I'm thinking about this head and how wide we're actually going to go with it. Because I want to put something on the top. So what I think I'm going to do with this one is, let's move that out of the way for 2 seconds. And let's get one of the 4-inch cakes. 6-inch cakes rather, and use this as a bit of a
cake. Maria's a cake friend. Chocolate lime.
I know.
It's lovely chocolate lime.
Do you know chocolate limes is the sweets my favourite?
Yeah.
Hello, anybody listening that likes to buy me some sweets at the next CI, my favourite. All I've done then is just cut out a rough circle in the middle. I've not necessarily gone to the 4-inch line, a little bit smaller than that, so I knew I've got some boundaries. And then just pop that one in the top. So you should now be able to see, if I tilt that forward, we've now got cake with a great big hole in it. Because before I eat them all, because there is great risk that most of these won't make it inside the cake.
Well, I'm amazed there's only after, because I've avoided them.
They're my downfall, is sweet. But we thought it'd be fun for Halloween if actually it was full of stuff. Like his brains. So they're going to look disgusting, aren't they, when they're cut? So these are Coca-Cola laces, not the strawberry laces. They look a bit fab. And we'll put some of these in. Like so. And then, on this version, the version that I made before, what I did was actually let down some of the buttercream to a quite runny fondant.
Right.
You know, like a fondant fancy type. So that it would bleed and it would really run when it cut. But I still need some of it for afterwards, so I won't do that on this occasion.
You've got one bit of brain hanging out there.
Have I got a bit of brain?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. So don't just think of this for Halloween. This could be, it could be a minion, it could be anything you like, and actually you've poured out some of the body on the cake, and then it's basically got that in it as a bit of fun. So let's put a bit more buttercream in the middle, because that's what we're doing.
People are saying they're quiet because they're engrossed watching
I'm
it.
sorry,
So
please talk to me. Are you still out there? I'm so glad.
Saying if they're not saying anything, it's because they're engrossed.
Okay. So just putting another bit of filling on there like you would. And then I think probably, you know, this one will about do us. Okay?
She's done good deep sponges there, Louise.
So she has, bless her, cotton socks. Again, we could have gone with that this needs to be a bit rounder.
Somebody says, where I've said you've got brain hanging out, she said, I know just how you feel. She's got her brain hanging out. Right, loving it. They're loving the colour, they're loving it so far.
So I think when you cut that, it'll look really nice and vibrant, it'll look very Halloweeny, it's all a bit good fun, so I like that rather a lot. Now, we are going to just get a little sharp knife. What I want to do is take this at an angle, and I'm taking it at a 45-degree angle in that direction basically, because I want to start shaping that head in that round. And as I say, I've not got the right sponge for this, but just in the right angle, go round. When I carve a cake, and you'll see it's more relevant when I do the top one, you only ever carve half a cake, if that makes sense. And I carve it in a clock. So let me work to the top. I've got to, honestly.
Do you want me to get you a little step?
No, I'm fine. So, you work at this 45-degree angle, and you work in half a clock. There's 12 o'clock, there's 6 o'clock. I'm left-handed. I work from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock and stop. Rotate the cake. 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock and stop. If I were to go from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock to 11 o'clock, look what happens to the angle of my knife. Completely changes. So you will never ever end up with an evenly carved cake. So half a clock is the way to go. So 6 o'clock, round to 12 o'clock and stop and turn. And then 6, round to 12 and stop. Do you know what's really lovely? For once I'm making a mess in someone else's kitchen.
I noticed.
It's good, isn't it? Okay. Then what you do, when you carve, you don't over-carve. Loads of people over-carve and they end up with a cake that was supposed to feed 40 and it'll only feed 12 because all they've done is just kept going and kept going and kept going. What I actually do is do one lot of cutting. Can you see then how you make an angle here and an angle here? Yeah? So you make sort of 2 angles. You're only going to make more angles the more that you cut. So actually what you do with it after that is you rub it.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that gives a proper shape, doesn't it?
And then it goes a proper shape.
Oh, cover it up. Don't do it all in the sweeties, we need them.
Yeah, I'll show you with cake crumbs. I'll show you with cake crumbs then. So it's absolutely fine. Lou, I'm sorry there's a bit more of your cake coming off here. So again, don't be afraid to, that's what the frame is there for. Get hold of the frame, move the cake around to suit you.
Well, that shows you how secure it is, doesn't it? If you can get hold of the frame and start moving it around.
Start pulling it out. And I've had the baseboards made in a nice neat white plastic. I thought that they looked nice and clinical, nice and clean, but also it means that you don't have to cover them if you don't want to. The one that we've done tonight, we've covered in sugar later on, but it doesn't have to be like that. There we go. We'll just lop a bit more off. And you know, that's as finesse as that gets. We're going to cover it in a bit of ganache and then it's getting covered in bandages. We don't need to spend time on this one, folks. The great thing is that we're doing something with the kids. It's fun for Halloween, it's great for the party, but it's not going to break the bank and it's certainly not going to take you 12 hours to make. If you start making this as orders that you can sell, then basically you can be making money out of it, and that's the beauty of this. Now, I'm looking for my ganache, that's what my eyes are wandering back for.
Yeah.
Carol, would you please heat up my ganache?
Yeah.
Probably once about 20 seconds.
Right.
So,
My microwave's very hot.
Ganache, yeah, go for 20 then, no more than that. Ganache basically I use because it forms a solid cement. And I like it because it allows me to add not only like a glue but also a support for the cake that you're doing. Ganache basically is the recipe that I use if it's a dark chocolate recipe, not a good quality in terms of price, but 70% cocoa. then you want 2 parts chocolate to 1 part double cream. Bring the double cream up to the boil, add the chocolate in pieces, so chunks or droplets ideally, take off the heat and stir till it's done, and then it sets. If you're making a white chocolate ganache, then basically it's 3 parts white chocolate and 1 part double cream. I can put that on the sheet. If you write it in the comment, Dawn, you promised me my ganache recipe, then I'll pop that in there for you as well. Now, whilst Carol's doing that, let's have a bit of a mop up. Really useful tip, which I haven't used tonight, but what I do when I'm carving a cake is actually put either a carrier bag or a few bits of cling film out on the surface. And it basically means that I can then sweep up easily. But I've not done that. Thank you. I also use all of my offcuts for making a cake pop mix, but I don't make cake pops. If you take a look at my fast food stack behind and you watch the demo in a couple of weeks, you will see how I've used cake pop mix to actually start moulding cake. And I use that with ganache. It's absolutely brilliant, particularly if you need some weight. Rice Krispie treats are great for moulding, but obviously they're very light, and sometimes we use them because we need no weight. But when you need the weight, then I go with cake pop mix moulding. So that's what I would have been using this for. And again, if you keep that on a nice, thank you, if you keep that on a nice food safe surface, then you can use all of that as well. I've done with that, Carol, thank you. Right, quick swig of gin. It's water, honestly.
Tastes nice.
So, Rice Krispie treats. Again, I have a great recipe for these, but life's too short. When I make Rice Krispie treats, what I do is take a big microwavable bowl, take a big bag of marshmallows, or it's a pot. You know, the Haribo's do a pot, or Asda do those big American marshmallows. So take a bag of them. Take the cheapest Rice Krispies that you can find. You pour your marshmallows into a microwavable bowl. You do that first, don't do that second, because they'll just explode all over the place. Then basically add your Rice Krispies, put it in the microwave, and it all mushes together. Then 2 spoons. You stir it with 2 spoons, because if you stir it with 1, you'll want to wipe the spoon and you'll get absolutely covered, and leave it. Because life is too short, pre-bought ones are absolutely perfect. Only buy them when they're on offer, folks. They go down to like half price. So these are £1, and I stock up when they're £1, and then I've got them to hand every time I need them. The reason that I use these ones is they're actually like building blocks. So I could get a nice defined shape with whatever it is that I wanted to do, but actually just start using these as a building block. So I find those quite good for that. Let's get my palette knife back out.
Louise is having problems with her internet.
I wish she...
Yeah, she's frozen, but we're not frozen.
No, I'm quite warm in here. It's rather nice. It's very pleasant. So, what I'm doing now is just bobbing a bit of ganache on the inside of the framework, and then I'm going to put it on the underside of my platform. Doesn't matter what mess I make at the moment at all. Your microwave is very hot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's probably a bit too runny. What you're looking for, and it doesn't matter because it'll firm up, what we're looking for is the consistency of soft butter rather than caramel. But it firms up pretty quickly, so we're all good. And what I'm going to do now is, rather than going that way, can you see how that's just a touch too short? So I'm going to turn it the other way. I'm just going to come to the back so that I can measure where I need to cut. Do 1 and see if that's going to work. Yeah, so I've gone a bit wider, but that's good because it means I can wedge it.
Some people can't use them because they're not vegan friendly.
Then,
vegetarian friendly.
Yeah. So if they're not, then I'd be using my cake pop mix. So if you've made yourself a nice vegan cake, then actually use a mix that suits you. But what you're looking for is some sort of mouldability, basically. You could use the fondant, so use sugar paste if you want to. Modelling chocolate. Whatever you can lay your hands on or feel comfortable to use is absolutely fine. I had a spatula. So because we're bricklaying, this is our mortar. And we've not only now got it on the sides of cake frame, but I've also got it in between our layers as well, whilst we're at it.
It's good because it shows how much you can squeeze that frame and it's not doing any...
No, it's moving backwards and forwards as I do it, but nothing's
exactly.
coming off. Nothing's coming off at all. And then I think probably one more and that'll do, because we need to leave room that he's actually got legs.
Some make theirs with halal marshmallows.
Oh, brilliant. I didn't know that you could get those.
Yeah.
That's perfect. If you know a link, guys, and you want to pop that in the comments, that'd be really, really helpful.
So there you go, Salma. That's your job. How to make halal marshmallows. No, how to make the Rice Krispies with a halal marshmallows.
Marshmallows, that's it.
And where to get halal marshmallows.
Every day's a school day, you see? I've learnt something today.
Somebody said you can also use silver foil. That works too.
It does, it does. I have a thing.
Because you're not eating that bit really, are
You're
you?
not, but I do have a thing that I like my cakes to be edible. And I
Yeah.
don't like them full of stuff that isn't,
Right.
basically. But yes, tin foil is fine too. Okay, so that's all pushed up into place. I think that's as far as we'll go. And we don't need to cover the arms because I think they're quite a nice width actually.
So Mary Williamson has just asked, which category would you be allowed to use cake frame for Cake International, like this mummy or other bobblehead?
Any that says internal supports is permitted.
Right,
Because
so-
it's a food safe internal structure. So any of the categories for Cake International that say food support. It's a recognised food support.
Yeah. Right, that's good.
So that's all fine. I know there was talk, wasn't there, about the safety seal and whether you could or couldn't put it in flowers, but it's not that controversial. It's just a food support, which is good. And if it says that you have to use a food safe support, i.e. you can't use wood or metal, then cake frame's your baby.
Right.
Let me just wipe
Right,
my
well, while you're
fingers.
doing that, Louise has asked, can John just go over there
Yeah,
and
of
have a look
course.
at your food thing while you're doing that together? And then Louise can say what she wants that for. Do you want to go in close on it? So what have you made the chips out of?
They are chocolate paste, white chocolate paste.
White chocolate paste,
And they are just cut.
airbrushed.
Yeah, and airbrushed.
And every section is cake, is it?
Every section is cake. So the bottom fries section
Mhm.
is my moulded cake pop mix
Right.
instead of Rice Krispie treats. The bucket of popcorn is 3 layers of this Death by Chocolate sponge.
Right, 3 layers of Death by Chocolate sponge. Popcorn is made
The,
of
the popcorn is white chocolate paste.
white chocolate paste.
Airbrushed.
Your burger.
The burger is cake. It's 2 layers of
Is
Death
it
by Chocolate cake. It is cake.
All of that.
Yep.
And what have you done? Coated it with sugar paste after?
No, chocolate paste.
Chocolate paste,
Which
okay.
I've airbrushed.
Right.
And then the lettuce and cheese has gone on top of it,
Yeah.
and that's all chocolate paste.
And the drink?
And the drink is 4 layers of 4-inch Death by Chocolate cake.
Right, 4 layers of Death by Chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Right, very good.
Covered in white chocolate.
I have to tell you, that is amazing. But everything you do is amazing.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, trust me, I have had things.
I get scared when I look at your stuff, it's so good.
No, thank you. So, whilst you've been gone, all I've been doing is adding a bit of ganache to this. And as I say, it is a little runny, but it's no problem.
Carol's fault again.
No, it isn't. It was, I told you how long to do it for. That was all.
Well, I did it for 20 seconds, but it was rock hard, so I put it in for another 20.
Oh, well, yeah. It was the last 20 that she's ruined it.
I
I
know.
said, I can't work in these circumstances. I'm going.
I couldn't stick, it wouldn't stir. It was rock
No,
hard.
I know. It was like that.
20 seconds was rock hard, the spoon wouldn't even go in it.
No, I know. Yeah, but there was like a big layer of separated butter on the top.
Oh, right.
It is my demo box. Okay, so a little bit of ganache on there. It's because we're not dealing with a wedding cake, we're not dealing with something that needs basically a really sort of smooth coat. So if I'm dealing with ganache in normal sets of circumstances, it has what we call a crumb coat on it, which basically attacks the crumbs and covers the crumbs up. And then I'd go back for another coat to smooth off. Then I'd go back with hot boiling water and smooth again. But this is something that, I mean, look at the mess I'm making. This is something that the kids can just get stuck into. It's brill, basically. So that, for me, is enough that I know that my sugar paste is going to stick to this cake, and that acts as part of my glue, and that my cake isn't going to dry out should some of it not be covered. So I'm happy enough. If I wasn't happy with the shape and I'd got the cake that I'd got because I was an idiot and cut it too short, if you wanted to change the shape of the head, then actually simply mould those into there as well. And again, you'll need a little bit of that chocolate ganache just to help it stick onto the plastic. But you really can sort of mould these round in any shape that you like, basically.
Our friend Karen Davies has joined us.
Good evening, Karen.
She's going to be here next Monday.
Bless her. I love Karen.
Yeah.
And I love her moulds even more. Right, we need to ganache this body together because we want the body to stay put.
One of the viewers wanted a better shot of it, so love the McDonald's cake. Yeah, done that. One of the viewers wanted, that's why she actually was one of the viewers wanted a better shot. A close up. We'll go back to it again a couple of times.
And as I say that, if you join on to Cake Frame Club or subscribe to the YouTube channel of Cake Frame, that'll be on there in a couple of weeks. I think it'll be on Saturday actually, if I get it edited and out. And that was a live demo I did at Sweet Success in 2 hours from start to finish.
Debbie Groves has said, sorry, it took forever to get the sprogs to bed. Missed all of this, but she's with us now.
Oh, welcome Debbie.
Somebody's asked, why boiling water, please? And how?
So, if I'm smoothing a cake down, basically you've got your ganache, but you've put it in the fridge and let it go hard. So you need something hot in order to smooth out the ridges. You can't use hot tap water, it's not hygienic. You must use boiling water, basically.
Does that mean you want boiling water?
No, because we're not getting to that stage. But if I was dealing with a wedding cake and I wanted a decent ganached surface, it's fridged and then it's hot boiling water to smooth over. We're just going to stick this to one side because it's not going to matter, basically.
I'll get you a couple of clean cloths for cleaning down.
Thank you. So my ganache, if it was more like the consistency that I wanted, Karen McFarland, then I wouldn't be holding my Rice Krispie treats.
I've ruined your ganache, I've ruined Louise's ganache.
It's quite alright.
Louise's ganache was rock hard by the time I was finished with it.
You just can't follow instructions.
Clearly not. Clearly not. Now the other solution for this would be my ice spray. So I do a Chocolatiers ice spray, which basically instantly freezes chocolate. So if I couldn't be bothered to stand and wait for it, that's what I'd be doing.
So somebody said, what is the best cake to use if you don't like chocolate cake? But you can use any cake, can't you?
Yeah, you can. I usually use a vanilla. It was the fact that it was Halloween and I wanted something to go with lime.
Yeah.
So I went with the chocolate.
Yeah.
But no, actually, you know, vanilla cake.
There's no hard set rules what flavour you use.
No, always go with what you like because then you're going to want to eat it and you're going to want to enjoy it, basically.
And if you don't want to do chocolate, dark brown chocolate, you can use white.
White ganache, yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, let's hope that that kind of stays. Now then, Carol, my little Joey. I nearly said kangaroo because Joey's obviously, can you come and help clean down for me
I'll clean down, right, okay, as soon as I've made all the mesh. Yeah.
Whilst I move on to the next bit.
Right, okay, let me get those down.
Someone has asked, I bet this takes ages to make.
No.
It wouldn't if I hadn't melted all the ganache.
No, it doesn't. We're nearly done. We're nearly done, basically. Yeah, if she hadn't melted the ganache, we'd have moved on in a heartbeat. Right, can you just move to one side for me? And what we need to do is make sure, keep your eye on that, and if it slides, it wants to come back up again. Can you wipe the board down for me?
Yeah.
And generally give it a clean up. And then John, come over here, because we will move on to something else. So, basically to make the light up eyes, there's loads of things. I don't know whether you've seen any of the cakes that I make, but I put movement in cakes, I put lighting in cakes, I put sound in cakes, but I always make sure that everything's nice and food safe. What I really love about cakes is that, yes, it's cake, but it's the fact that it does something that's amazing, but you'd want to eat it, and you can cut it. You're not fighting your way through all these Rice Krispie treats or everything else that isn't particularly edible to get to the bit of the cake that's inside. So, on this cake, however, I wanted to make it nice and simple. So we're going to use balloon lights. Balloon lights are a bit fab. And basically, these are the bits that we're chucking in for free. If you buy the kits, we'll chuck you in 2 lights, basically.
Yeah.
So that you can
bag
make
of icing
it.
sugar, a bag of cocoa powder tonight.
Yeah, and then lights. Now then, I'm cutting the balloon
This is on the whole set, if they buy the whole set.
About the whole set, okay. So if you cut open the balloon, what you find is there's your light inside, basically.
And the X and Y joint they get.
Oh yeah, they get the X and Y joint. New joint, that. Really, really useful.
Right, is that clean enough?
That's lovely, thank you. Is that stock? No, it's sliding down again. Give it a...
Sorry.
It's all right. It's warm in here as well, so it's going to take ages to set. Okay, so balloon lights. Basically, when you then pull out the tab, that's what will set the light going. Now, it says on the packet that it will do for 12 to 15 hours. I made the mummy that stood in the room that's finished. I made that. Let's just go in. Can we have a look at one of them bottles, see if the bottle will go in. Yeah, put something else in for sport. So I made that mummy, last Monday, and it's still lit up now, basically. So that's well over our 12 hours. Bro. So these really will kind of last quite a while, but these to me are a choking hazard, so we can't put these directly into our cake. However, if we take the cake frame connector, you remember we've seen one of these already tonight, we've used one. These come in a pack of 6 and they come in that starter kit. And actually you'll find, if I'd cut a bit more off, it would fit, but there's a bit more balloon left on there. But basically, these slot inside the connector. I've got greased fingers, so I can't do it. There we go. So they slot inside there, so now that you're not going to choke on it. We can put this in the cake, because this is food safe, and it allows our lights to shine out for our eyes. So that is basically the eyes. We would slot those, then, inside our cake.
That I've propped up.
That you've propped up. It is ridiculously warm in here, folks. Ridiculously warm. I know. And again, a bit firmer ganache and that'll make it stick, but it's what happens on live telly. So you go with it. So I'm cutting another one. I'm going to cut the same colour actually. You'll find that some of them light up different colours and all sorts, so you could be sent, a multicolour of bits and pieces through.
I think it makes it like that.
Well, it'll be fun. It'll be fun, yeah. And push that in there. And then that is our other eye. Okay, like so. Carol, please. Oh, there's my clock.
Yeah.
It's all right. I've got it. Okay. Guys, would you actually believe that we're ready to cover him? So we're ready and we're nearly done.
I'll just come down and wipe this.
Oh, it's one of his eyes just fallen out. Honestly. Everything's popping out.
This is why it's live on the night, so they can see how it happens, Dawn. If it was...
anything else.
If you did it perfect, everybody would say, oh, well, that's
Me do something perfect.
So it's best
Never
that we see
gonna
it as
happen.
it is.
Never ever gonna happen. There we are. Right. Sorry,
Right,
I've
you're all
lost my
cleaned up.
cloth now. If you can take me to
Yeah.
yours. Okay. So we're ready for covering. Covering is going to be nice and simple.
Do you want to get
Right.
any chocolate out your fingers or anything before you
Do you
start?
know, I've always got chocolate in my fingers, but it's a mummy and I'm going to airbrush it brown in a minute,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm really not that bothered. And you're covering it anyway, Carol. One of the best things, apart from the amazing flavoured icing sugars that I got in my little bottle from Carol, was this. I love this. I think it's fun. I'm always looking for a little dusting pouch. Do you know one of my favourite dusting pouches was from India, and it was from the lady that was with, it was her grandmother's sari.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
was like a proper muslin, but it was beautiful.
Right.
But I lost it. So I was delighted when this came. Okay. So we've got some white sugar paste. I've already rolled out a little bit. And all we're going to do is make some strips, guys. That is it. So need a way. Yes, I'm going to get chocolate in it, but as I said, we're going to airbrush it. So it doesn't
Just
really
explain
matter.
to them
Doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Doesn't matter on this occasion. Obviously, you would usually be nice and neat, but you don't want to sit here and watch me wash my hands. So, I'm going in, I've gone in a sort of strip, but I'm now going to go wider. And it doesn't matter. Don't go too thin. You don't necessarily want anything to tear on you as you put it up. That's the only thing. I must say, though, that sugar paste direct's really good for the sort of elasticity of it.
Yeah.
So, I don't think you'd really have that as an issue. And then, John, if you wouldn't mind taking a closer look at the dummy, can you see that there's a texture on the sugar paste?
You see this texture around it?
So can you see that it's not a flat piece of sugar paste? They look a little bit like bandages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what I've used, if you want to come back this way, it's a non-slip mat. All I've done is place it down and use it like an impression mat.
Yeah.
And it puts in the impressions like a bandage, basically.
And we sell them on the website.
Woohoo!
Ours are big ones, but they can cut them up.
Well, that's all I do is cut them up. Guys, you must make sure they're clean. I airbrush on most of mine, so I always give mine a bit of a wash before I start doing stuff, basically.
We've got them on as Grippo mats, if anybody else.
Rightio. You just make sure I can actually lift this up. There we go. And then we're just going to cut it into strips. You can be as rough and ready as you like with this. Don't go too wide. I've probably gone about a centimetre, just over a centimetre, maybe a centimetre and a half. That's it. Keep going with the strips. Now we've got a bottle in here.
Sorry.
So I would usually start down at the bottom and work my way up.
Sorry.
Yes, but I wasn't able to do that. So whilst I'm at it and before I forget...
They know I cock it up every week.
honestly. So I'm going to start with the arms. Because you can't necessarily get right to the end of the arm, I'm just going to cover up the end of his hand with a piece of sugar paste. And then I'll go with the other one and do exactly the same. Just cover it up. And it means if I don't put the bandage all the way to the end, that I've kind of got something going on. Now, for this one, I'm not even going to bother gluing it because we're wrapped at a nice sort of horizontal level, so I know it's not going to go anywhere. And it is as easy as that. Just keep wrapping around. Obviously, if you've got...
No, it's
all right, because I'm not going to be here for long. You're going to take over in a minute.
And what?
Yeah. So basically, you're just going to keep wrapping round and wrapping round. And then we could end up going round the edge of the body and just bringing it round. Wherever it finishes, let it finish.
Yeah.
Okay. So the most time-consuming thing about this, I think, really, is just sitting and cutting some strips. If we started with the head, take it at the front, and then I'm just going to go round. You'll find it'll probably do once round. I cannot see what I'm doing at all, so I don't know where I'm putting it, but basically there until it's done and on, and just keep layering him up.
Yeah.
Don't go too neat with this either. You know how a mummy's got bandages that's kind of all over the place? Just go with it, basically. The body would get completely wrapped, you'd go down the legs, but I'd start with the legs and then I'd go around the body, which Carol's going to do in a minute. You do not need to watch me doing that for 10 minutes. So, Carol, I'm just going to pop this here. In fact, let's swap the other way around. You go that side.
So what I'm doing, just rolling this out.
Rolling it out, cutting into strips. If you remember, use the thingy as a doodah thing, and we'll do some airbrushing. Did you bring? Well, you brought that white pad from back. Thank you. Do you know I am forever getting chocolate ganache out of my nails. Right. Let's have a bit of a tidy up. Oh. Okay. So airbrushing tonight, all we're actually going to airbrush is just some gentle shading, which we'll come to in a bit. But if I thought you'd never held an airbrush before, wouldn't it be nice to know what they did? Are you all nodding? Thumbs up. Good. Okay. So, in the world, forget the brand, there are only two types of airbrush, okay? One is called a single action airbrush, and one is called a dual action airbrush. Quite often people have heard the terms but don't know what they mean. A single action airbrush always has airflow, and it requires one action to make it work, and that's you pulling back the trigger. A dual action airbrush, when you turn it on, has no airflow, and it requires two actions. One of you pushing down the trigger, one of you pulling back the trigger in order to make it work. So dual action, single action. A dual action airbrush is amazing. but it's for graphic designers, and I felt when I designed an airbrush for cakes that it was too much. So I've gone with a single action airbrush. This is the compressor here, and if you've not seen a Dinkydoodle one before, then basically it's just a nice plain surface. The button's located underneath, it's wiped clean, you've got a holder on the side that your airbrush will go in place, and that's what we call a 3cc cup, so that holds 3 cc's of fluid, but you only actually ever fill it half full. So let's take a look at how you fill it and what you do with it. Basically, take it off where it's vibrating and making funny noises. You're going to hold it like a pen, okay? You're going to pull back the trigger and that's what's going to make it work. When you hold it like a pen though, you're not going to hold it horizontally. So loads of people airbrush like this. They also stand well back because they're a little bit scared. And then they start airbrushing. And what you'll find is they'll get the entire room. So all the way across there is where they're airbrushing and they're making a mess. And I know loads of people, Carol, say about a box, don't they?
Yeah.
Should I airbrush inside a booth?
Yeah.
Well,
I was reading that this weekend on Facebook. People were asking about getting a kiddie's pop-up tent.
So a kiddie's pop-up tent. Okay, so these are my issues with any kind of booth. If it's not got an extractor in it that's going to take all of that airbrush mist, then all it's doing is going around the box. And it goes round the box and then it settles. And if you were doing an ombre cake where you only wanted blue at the bottom, I guarantee you'll have blue over the entire cake because it's in that box and it's got nowhere to go. What you actually need to do is learn to airbrush at the right angle, and then your overspray doesn't go too far. So basically, rather than airbrushing at that horizontal, I want you to point down. And when you point down, your overspray will only go here, basically, and you'll get far less. So let's take a look at what we can do with it. When we start airbrushing, we always work with our lightest colour first because it allows us to work through our colours. Without cleaning, we can literally just go with yellow, go with blue, then go with brown, go with black, and all we've done is empty out. Always, always, always have a piece of paper, kitchen paper, in your spare hand. Because, 1, it allows us to get rid of the initial burst of colour. 2, it allows us to check our colour. And 3, if we're wanting some tiny detail, we gain control and then lift and we can carry on. So how does it work is this. We've got 2 variables that we need to get used to. Variable number 1, how far away I am from my project. So if I'm a good distance away, can you see at this angle, Johnny? You're right. If I'm a good distance away from my project, then basically I'm going to get a nice wide spray. If I come down close to my project, then I'm going to get a really fine spray. So what I need to do in order to get the right amount of spray is work out, well, which angle or how close to my project do I actually need to go. The second variable is this, how much I pull back the trigger. So if I'm a good distance away from my cake, I can get a good strong colour straight away. If I'm close to my cake and pull the trigger all the way back, that's when you make a mess. So when you've got those 2 variables sorted, there's nothing that you can't achieve with an airbrush. It's as simple as that. And it's like trying to work out a biting point with a projectile cloud. When you've sorted out your particular biting point, you're good to go. So, how are you getting on there, Carol? By the time that we've finished, or I've finished playing about with an airbrush, we might just have the head covered, and you'll have to imagine what the body might look like, guys.
I am traumatised after ruining the Ganache.
Don't
twice.
worry.
I've ruined Louise Brimlow's Ganache, I've now ruined yours.
It's quite
and
alright.
to stick this on as well.
Yeah, no, we're having fun. It's absolutely fine. So, basically, we can do all sorts of stuff, and I know what folk like me to do most is wood grain. So, give us a thumbs up now and a like. Hit the like button, please, if you'd like me to show you how to do wood grain airbrushing. Is there any thumbs up coming, John?
There will be soon.
Yes, 30 seconds delay.
Yeah.
And then I'll just stand there for a minute.
It's a long time when you're waiting for 30
No,
seconds.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really long time.
Let's assume that's what they want to see.
Sorry?
Let's assume that's what they want
Yes.
to see. Oh, yes. All the thumbs
Yes,
up are coming
all
now.
the thumbs up are coming.
Yeah, lots
okay.
of them. Lots of them.
So guys, what I've done is got yellow in the airbrush, and then I've added a touch of brown. Now what you'll find is that the brown is heavier than the yellow. It's weird, but darker colours are heavier and it's going to sink to the bottom. So I need to mix the two colours. And I mix the colours the same way that I would clean them. So if I block the end of the airbrush and I pull back the trigger, can you see me blowing bubbles? Well, that's now just blown the two colours together and they're now mixed, so I've got my lighter colour. I would do the same thing when I'm using that cleaning solution. So rinse, 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 block it, blow bubbles, and you'll flush the colour out. So I'm now going to go very, very gently over my sheet with this light yellow brown. Don't worry about the speckles there, it's wood grain, it'll do. One of the easiest things in the world I learned to do this is when I'd got an order for a cake that needed, it was a cricket bat for Gunner North, for G&M, and it needed to look real. And the lady that taught me how to make cakes was the president of the British Sugarcloth Guild. If Karen Davis is still with us, she will know Pam Wakefield very well. Pam, if you're watching, I love you dearly. So basically, I said to Pam, there must be a way that I can airbrush wood grain on. She went, yeah, there is, but I'll let you figure that out. Thanks, Pam. Best lesson she ever taught me. I've torn a piece of paper, okay? And I'm going to place the piece of paper on my project. I'm using that as my checking point. Remember that piece of kitchen paper I had in my hand? Well, I'm checking my colour and making sure it's okay. Still a bit light. I'm going to add some more brown. A little bit more. Mix up the colour again, although that brown should overtake it. There we go. And all I'm going to do is walk up and walk back down again. Basically, the best thing I can ever teach you about airbrushing is to not airbrush the cake. You airbrush the stencil, and your overspray will do the rest for you. I'm just going to tear it a touch thinner because each grain of the wood shouldn't touch another one. So right down inside there to about there or about do me. Again, checking my colour, up and then down, and then again, up and down, and then again. Then I'll tear myself another bit of paper, turn it round. I mean, loads of people when I do this, you know, that says I can't tear paper like you. You'd be ever so pleased to know I run a paper tearing class. It's only £175. I'm kidding, folks. Okay. Oh,
You'll be giving me a bandage class.
I will be giving you a bandage class. I should be giving you a how to heat Ganache class. She's not going to invite me back.
Do not look at her.
It's Brill. It's a mummy. It's a mummy. There's no wrong with that. There's no wrong with that. That's fine. John, come back this way.
It's got a hat.
It's got what? I like that. That's a good hat.
Traumatised.
Do you know? In fact, in all fairness, John, go back to the hat. That's exactly what I would have done.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
I was there thinking, what the hell am I going to do here?
Because you're not going to want to go all the way around. I would only put one more on to cover up the hat. Join. But that's it. Okay. So I've now torn that piece of paper into two bits. And I'm going to come down one side. And then I'm going to move my piece of paper and come down another, and then down another. Flip that around.
Paper tearing classes.
Do you know, is there I can provide a link to my paper tearing class. I am joking, guys. It's just torn paper. But please, if it keeps me in work, I'll run a class in it. Okay, then I'm very, very gently going to go over the whole thing again, just to bring it together. I've run out of colour. But you see how far that little cup of colour went? Loads. So you don't need kind of bigger cup. And just go over it goes. And then, there it is. Easy peasy, wasn't it? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Got nothing to do with mummies, but it's one of them things that if you've never picked up an airbrush before, guys, you need to do. What I generally suggest to people, if you've never airbrushed before, remember about getting those two variables right. You need to buy a cheap children's colouring book. If you can get a cheap children's colouring book, the one with those horrible grey, disgusting thick pages, and airbrush and keep the page dry, then you're not giving it too much trigger. And if you can colour within the lines, then you know that your hand-eye coordination for the distance you are away from the cake is also spot on. Work your way through the colouring book, and again, there won't be anything that you can't achieve with an airbrush. So whilst I'm using yellow and brown tonight on these cakes, the little sets that we're doing have got the red, yellow, blue in them. There's your primary colours. We've also got black and white, so I can now lighten and darken everything, as well as having black and white. We've also added nice popular colours like the orange, the greens, the browns, the pink and the violet. So I think you've got 10 colours there and a cleaning solution. So whilst Carol's just finishing off that head, let's take a look at cleaning the airbrush. So all I would do is empty out the airbrush, and then with water, normal water, I would basically be rinsing this through. Now I have a cleaning station at home, which is a little glass jar with a lid on it. You could use a coffee cup, disposable coffee cup, or a disposable soup pot. Pop a hole in the top, put some kitchen paper inside, and then just spray into there. So spray once and get rid. When you've sprayed a couple of times with water, then basically take your cleaning solution now to make sure that it's clean, and I'll get another bit of kitchen paper, but block again and blow bubbles. What it does is flush out whatever's in here, in there and then out, and dilutes it basically. Once your bubbles are clear, your airbrush is clean. As simple as that. And I have got, anyone that's on here will be able to vouch for me, but I've got loads of tutorials on airbrushing, troubleshooting, hints and tips, and if anybody ever has an issue with anything that's got Dinkydoodle Designs written on it, I am always there and available to help. Available about 23.5 hours a day, usually. I need half an hour off for some kit. Carol has done an amazing job here. We haven't got the body done, but we'll not worry about it.
I'm going to let you do the body.
We'll crack up. Well, I don't know whether I can remove the bottle yet. Honestly, folks, this is the reason why you make one in advance. The demo cake never sees.
I missed that.
Did you miss that?
Yeah, well, I'm too early.
She was too busy. What were you doing?
I'm doing this thing here.
But guys, the demo cake never ever sees the light of day. It is the one that goes in the bin faster than you can say Halloween mummy. But I think you've done a grand job there.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I'm keeping yours for the photos.
Yes, oh, I like how you. Yes, I see. I might be brave enough and see if the bottle will come out, yeah? Yeah, that's set now. We're all alright. We're all alright. Whilst we're finishing up later, then I might just finish it. But let's get some airbrushing on it, shall we?
Well, yeah,
So-
just grab some more.
Yeah, no, you keep going with it.
Keep going.
Yeah, do that. Keep going.
Yeah, no, we need to finish the whole thing for him.
Are you with us till midnight,
No, it won't
folks?
take us
No.
long.
Yeah.
How do you put the feet on? Come on,
Okay.
let's do the feet.
So-
You do the feet, and I'll go and roll some orders.
So basically, the feet is 2 balls. You can usually start with 1 ball and cut it in half. I've lost my knife. She's got my
Oh,
knife.
I've
But
got yeah, sorry.
whenever you're doing something that's symmetrical on either side, eyes, anything like that, always start. There you go, Carol. Always start with 1 and cut it in half, and then you know they're the same size, basically. So the foot look, it's this complicated, Carol. It's stick a ball of sugar paste at the front. Ta-da! That's it. Nothing's
where my feet could go.
Nothing's too complicated on this
Always
one.
putting size 7s into it.
At all. At all. Now you'll notice, really good kind of tip, is that we've got a bit of cake frame sort of sticking up out the back. When I had ganache that was a little firmer set, then basically I would have just gone over that with a bit of ganache, turned it into the shoulders, whatever, I'd have disguised that, and of course it's got the bandages going around it and stuff, so you wouldn't kind of really see it anyway. But yes, well, whilst Carol's finishing that, then let's get some airbrushing on it. I thought you were moving those to just be out of the way of the sharp, but John has moved the sweets to eat the sweets.
Oh.
John, if you
Thanks,
eat all
Tom.
if you eat all the sweets, you and I are going to fall out, because that is what I'm heading for straight after this is finished. Straight after this is finished.
Patricia's just actually asked what are the sweets for. She's obviously missed what you've done.
Okay, so if you've just joined us, the sweets are inside the head. So we've carved out some of the cake in the middle. You'll be able to watch this back, or you can watch it on Cake Frame Club YouTube. And yes, so they are in the middle of the cake, along with some lime green buttercream. And basically, when we go to cut the cake, all the bits will fall out. Be quite good
Can I
fun.
do some strips then?
Yeah, just plonk some strips down and I'll plonk them on in a minute. So airbrushing, we've got that same yellow and brown in. Again, you want a piece of spare paper in your hand just to check that you've got the colour that you like. And I'm very gently, look at how, oh, it's actually quite yellow that. Let's blow some bubbles. There we go.
You have a bit of white out on this. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to white out. So don't go too far away. It's still very yellow, this. That's better. But you can just start to pick up just a little bit. Guys, less is more. So don't go mad. Like, you can concentrate. If I wanted to concentrate on this bit and I didn't want to get the rest of it, that's what your kitchen paper is for. Actually hold that in place and you should just be able to airbrush over. I'm going to go, probably give it more airbrush than I would normally, just so that you can see it, so we've not got a complete and utter white out. But just pick up a bit of the detail. Right, now Carol's made me some strips that I can go with. Let's get the legs away. I'm going to leave a bit for the front and then I'm just going to wrap round. If you find this isn't sticking because we're going vertically up a rod, then just brush it over with some glue.
Do you want a bit of bowl of water?
I think we're all right, to be fair, and I've got the glue and the paintbrush, so we'll see how we get on. I'm just going to push this down so actually we can't hopefully see any cake frame. But if you'd have covered these legs completely in ganache, it wouldn't have mattered. If anything, no, I didn't mean that. Sorry, Carol, I didn't mean to have a go at you again. I promise I won't do that anymore. But if we
known as don't ever ask Carol to ganache.
Oh no! It was my fault. If I'd have done it, I'd have made the mistake too. But it just means that it wouldn't have mattered if you'd have left some exposed ganache showing. Was where I was going with that. So wrap this round. See, it doesn't actually take long to cover the legs at all, or the arms for that matter. So round it goes. I can get to about sort of where the body starts now. So this bit is the tricky bit because you've just got to go under those arms. That one I think is going to have to finish about there, and then we can just pop that bit on there. It's a bit tricky decorating the cake from the back when you can't actually see the front.
Well, I don't know how you're managing because I struggled. I would prefer to spin it around like that.
Well, you can look, it's that easy to sort of do and to spin around. I'll put that one diagonally across there and probably break that off and start again just to
Are you going to be at Cake International this year, Dawn?
I will be at Cake International. I will be on the Cake Frame stand. So Cake Frame, as always, has a stand. And also, I will be demoing live on stage at 12 noon, and I'm going to make stuff move. I'm going to show you how easy it is to put movement in cakes, and I'm going to make something truly fantastic. It's top secret at the moment, can't share it with you. Then at 1 o'clock, we've got the final of the Cake Off, which I've sponsored, and I am giving them a £600 cash prize. Because, bless them, Cake International suggested, wouldn't it be nice if they had some of my products? Well, the guys are all professional cake decorators. They've probably already got an airbrush and some cake frame and everything else. If it was me and I was entering, I'd want cash. Yeah. Cold hard cash. So that's what we're going for. So yeah, you'll be able to catch me there. So I'm judging that as well. And then I've also sponsored an award. I've sponsored Cake Hero Award at Cake Masters. So I'm looking forward to a superb night there. It's one of my favourite categories is Cake Hero. So really looking forward to Cake International this year. Please.
What's Cake Hero?
So Cake Hero is like, who is your cake hero? Who is the one that you look up to? It doesn't have to be a famous cake decorator. It could be. You are my hero. To be fair, John's my hero. John made me dinner. It was beautiful. We had the most amazing dinner. In fact, I even managed, when I emptied the cake frame out, I've got a spare Tupperware pot. I filled it with food to take home. That's how good it was. You didn't really want me to share, did you, what goes on behind the camera before we start? Too late. I'm just going to stick a few more of these on here. if they'll stay. No, now I probably do need my glue. And my paintbrush. So Carol, I think you've actually done an amazing job, my lovely. You have. So folks, if you are struggling to get it to stick, once you've got to the sugar paste stage and not a ganache stage, you will probably struggle to get it to stick. And if you've got sort of blank cake frame, again, that'll do me, I think, Carol.
Which day is your live demo?
On the Saturday, so Saturday at 12 noon. And as I say, on Cake International, I am making something move, and it is going to be very, very fun and exciting, and something that then you'll be able to achieve at home. So I'm sharing some real kind of top secrets, basically. I think that'll do us for Stripe.
The question is this cake made just using the starter kit?
So, what we started with was the Minion kit. The Minion kit basically has, give me 2 seconds and I'm going to carry on answering that question. Carol, come here. I'm going to be really mean now. Carol, in here is a mixture of yellow and brown.
Oh, no.
Basically, stay about this far away from the cake. Okay? This far away from the cake, and we're just going to do a little bit of airbrushing.
Oh, am I safe?
Don't airbrush the thingy, okay?
Do we have any yellow mummy on it?
Well, it's supposed to go for brown now. I should tip a bit of that out. So, I did tell everybody I was going to be mean and let Carol loose with the airbrush.
I don't know which one. Is it this here?
So I want you to hold it like a pen, and I'm going to pull back the trigger.
Right there, that's the brown.
Okay, right, back to that other question. So, what do we use to start with? Well, the basis of this is actually the Minion kit, because it's the one that's got the 2-legged support. What you'll find in the starter kit is a 10-inch round baseboard with 5 holes to it. Now, you can't actually line up a 2-legged figure on that without it going towards the back. And if I bear with me, you can refill it with more brown if you need to. If I took a 6-inch platform and actually lined that up, what you'll find is, there we go, it has to line up right at the back. And then can you see how far the platform is off the back? So that was why I then invented the 2-legged support. So what I've done is use the Minion kit for extras, because it won't allow me to take anything that high, but all of Cake Frame slots together. So I've got a rod selection pack, some connectors, those X and Y joints, all of which we're going to put on a list as to what we've used. But that digs into the starter kit. Now the starter kit is cheaper as a whole than it is, it's beautiful, than it is than buying all the bits separately. So if I can just explain to you what is left, even though we've used all of that and we've built all of that, if I wanted to make a pouring kit, I've still got a 10-inch round baseboard, I've still got the long foundation, I've got my elbow joint, and then I've got some rods, so I can place my cake on there and have something pour at an angle. So I've still got the pouring kit. I've also still got another kit that comes separately, which is the Tears and Spheres kit. And with that, we've got a short foundation, like so. And then basically the platforms go on. Let me just need to dip into this one. Promise I'll replace it. So you've seen us tonight secure stuff with a foundation piece, but in the Tears and Spheres kit you add the rods together, and then when you're ready to support the next tier of cake, I can hear you chewing those sweets now, John. Then basically, you're just teasing me now. So basically that's how you support a tier of cakes. There's one underneath, then the next one, then the next one, next one. So you've still got a 3-tier wedding cake kit left, we've not even touched.
Yeah.
And you've still got it. Also, you might want to take stuff off at an angle. Well, if you wanted to make
Somebody's saying, what's the best airbrush machine? Can't believe that.
the Dinkydoodle, funnily enough.
Giles Dillon.
So, I might want to make something topsy-turvy. Now, loads of people think that the elbow joint that I use for the pouring kit is where we take stuff at an angle, but actually that'll take too much weight off and it starts making things all wobbly. Instead, what we do is use the single angle joint with the other rods in place. You don't put your platform down straight, you put it at an angle, and that's what makes your topsy-turvy cake. So you've still got a topsy-turvy kit as well as everything else that you've got going on. So you've got angles, you've got joints, you've got more rods, you've got more foundations, you've got boards, you've got platforms, you've got a 4 and a 6 inch, and you've got your minion kit. All of it goes in the dishwasher. All of it can be just simply taken apart. I'll use it again, do something else with it, and the job is a good one. That's how easy it is. I am always available to answer questions. I'm trying to put as much as I can on Facebook, on different tutorials. So if somebody said to me, how do I make a bubble cake? I'd say, take a look at the mummy, change the design, change the style, but the structure is the same. How do I put arms out at an angle? Take a look at this cake because da-da-da-da-da. For instance, I've done a strawberry basket. It looks like the lid of the wicker basket is on an angle, like they're open. That's that topsy-turvy cake. That's it, but just in a different kind of form. So yeah, those that miss which is the best airbrush, I'm biased. Dinkydoodle, my brand. Obviously, to be fair, if you're thinking about getting an airbrush, you can't get hold of a Dinkydoodle airbrush, what you need to consider is what is the best type for you. Probably the single action airbrush is the way to go. Go with a reputable dealer, go with something that's got a good guarantee and customer support. You will need to talk to somebody at some point about that airbrush because you won't know what you're doing with it, you won't know what's gone wrong with it. Things are dead easy to fix, and I've got loads and loads of stuff on YouTube to help you out.
Sarah Webster says, first time watching and she's hooked.
Thanks, Sarah. I won't be here next week, but Karen Davis, the god who is Karen Davis, is with them next week. So there's all sorts of things that you can learn from Karen. And Karen, I don't use moulds often, and when I do use them, I use them in a very different way. But what I love about Karen Davis moulds is they're absolutely perfection. There's something for every theme. They are the most beautiful moulds. And when you're able then to turn them into something else, they're just so, you know, the driftwood or the whatever, and what she's done with that ornate pearl, and she turned it into the board.
Never mind, I'll get back to your minion.
Sorry.
Kit. And you've got chocolate on your face.
I've got chocolate, I've always got chocolate on my face. So, back to the minion cake. It's done.
It's done.
It's done.
Actually, I quite like it now, actually.
Carol has done an amazing job. What I want to share with you finally... no, I'm leaving the chocolate on my face. I like it. What Carol has done, bless her, I've put her on the hop. She's not only airbrushed, but she's put this cake together with me. Even with our runny ganache, I think we've had a really good job. Oh, sugar on the board.
Oh yeah, sugar on the board.
So last thing, sugar on the board. I would put a bit of piping gel on here, just to help the sugar stay put. But take some golden sugar, can either be caster sugar or granulated sugar, dark brown sugar if you want to, it doesn't really matter, but it makes great sand. And then loads of people say to me, well, how do you transport a cake like this? Well, sometimes in Cake Frame, you can take stuff apart. So, John, if you wouldn't mind looking at fast food cake.
So, a few people have asked, can you explain again the kits and the balloons?
I will.
Just do a quick overview.
Yeah.
And they're all loving it, by the way.
So, this one here, I wouldn't transport like that, basically. I'd take off that cake. There's the foundation piece. Look, that's what keeps it in place. And then I'd transport it like this. When I transport the cake, what I do to help it is take a box and whee, there's balloons everywhere. Basically, we're going to pop our little guy in the box. Don't be afraid of getting hold of these cakes. So hand on the top, hand underneath. Whee! Chuck sugar everywhere. Do you know, I am stood. That's like I'm on the beach. Come on, look at the feet. It's like I am stood.
I've been told not to film the floor.
On the beach.
I get repeatedly told not to film the floor.
No, it's beautiful. I'm going to sunbathe in that later on. So anyway, Carol's in bits. She's going to kill me in a minute.
I'm not bothered. That was just so funny that you chucked it over yourself.
Oh, it was. So, anyway, basically, you can now fill your box with balloons They are soft enough not to damage the cake. And I got one more if I actually
I think
chucked
you
it on.
knocked it over.
It's on the floor. So you build them to suit whatever it is that you need, but basically you're going to wedge the balloons in. When you wedge the balloons all the way around, you can't go anywhere. Please, 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 guys, make sure that nobody's allergic to latex.
Yeah.
And do blow the balloons up with a balloon blower, not your mouth, so
Yeah.
that we just keep everything nice and hygienic. But that basically...
We like sharing stuff. Yeah, we don't
I
care.
know, no, we don't care at all. So basically that's how I would transport him. So that's a really, really, really helpful tip. We'll get him out of the box again in a minute. You want me to go
Are you
through
going to
the
chuck some
kits?
more sugar over yourself?
I'm not going to chuck any more sugar over
Do
myself.
explain, if you put piping gel on, that would have stuck to it.
That's why I said you needed piping gel.
Yeah.
If you'd have put piping gel on and not in the big lumps that have you seen the lumps, the size of the sugar lump that I am actually putting on there? There was just no way that was going to stay still. What I was actually trying to show off with, if I'm honest with you, is the fact that you can chuck cake frame about and the cake doesn't go anywhere.
Well, it didn't.
Clearly the sugar, on the other hand, goes absolutely everywhere.
Do you want me to pull this box out of the way?
Yes, bear with me and let me just get a hand underneath him. That's what I was trying to show.
Yeah.
That you can do that and the sugar doesn't go everywhere. I don't think... Do you know, I was doing so well neat and tidy until this point, but I can't
Until you threw chocolate all over your face.
I can't now move around. Okay. Come back this way, John, away from the mess, and we'll go through these kits again. Let me put this cake back.
That's why you're such a cutie, Dawn.
I am seriously, if my husband's watching, he's cursing me, and honestly, he's with you, Carol, because this is what I do at home. He's making a massive mess. So you could go with a minion kit. That'll do all sorts of different standing things, but it won't do anything that's necessarily as long as, and that's $14.99 on its own.
Yeah.
The cross and the Y joint, that's the one that allowed me the versatility with the joint, the arms going out, and that is
$3.99.
$3.99. So that is your minion kit. You also get full instructions, and you get all sorts of bits and pieces in there with that one. The starter kit then basically is 40 quid on its own, and it comes with loads of stuff, but it basically comes with your baseboard that's got your 5 holes in it. There's your 6-inch platform, your 4-inch platform. There's your 3-tiered wedding cake kit. You've got your foundation piece in long and short. You've got the rod selection pack, which has got your versatility in. There was the adapters. Remember, I needed one of those in the minion kit. These are the blanking caps, and you use them to blank off the holes that you don't need when you're doing a cake. Elbow joints, you can either use them as an elbow joint, or there's my pouring kits. The single angle joints will also make other arm joints, but there's my versatility for my topsy-turvy kits. And, sorry Carol, go on.
I was going to say, if they buy both those kits together, the minion and the starter, and they buy it tonight and tomorrow, they get a free chocolate line, a free line.
Let me pull
and
those
some
up.
sugar.
Where did they go?
I don't know.
Oh, there they are. So,
We get those as well, and we're chucking some balloon lights. You can buy the balloon lights anyway.
guys, if you buy the minion kit, this kit, the starter kit,
No, we
which
get the X and Y free.
they get the X, you get the X and Y thrown in.
Yeah,
so if you buy this and this,
we're giving them the X and Y.
you're getting the X and Y free. You're getting this and this if you buy tonight.
Yeah, so they're saving 3, 4, 8, 11 quid.
11 quid. Is that including the money that you're giving them off the kits as well?
That's it.
Yeah. And we're chucking in the balloon lights as well.
Yeah, just so they've got.
If you order during the rest of the week, it's just that.
Yeah,
But if you order tonight, it's
until
that.
Friday. Yeah.
And John's sleeping in a tent because we're bankrupting him. And basically, all of that will give you also. Honestly, it's a good deal. And don't forget, it's reusable, so you just keep basically reusing it. If you wanted to, because you've used all your rods and all the rest of it, you can obviously buy more. It is available separately. Then there's the airbrush kit. And how much have you got the airbrush kit on for?
Same as you, £99.
So £99 for the airbrush kit. These are like rocking horse poo.
Should be £129.
Yeah, should be £129. There is a black one, there is a hot pink one. It's not listed, the difference on the website. Please specify which you require. First come, first served basis.
Yeah.
They will have sold out by the end of the evening. DVD with me on there. Funny enough, how to make a burger cake, but not stacked. So there's loads of airbrushing hints and tips on there as well. 2-year guarantee, this has got with it, you know. Yeah, most electrical items just 12 months, mine is 2 years. And there's a set of colours. So tonight we've used the yellow and the brown. But there is your 3 primary colours, red, yellow, blue, black and white. You can now lighten and darken, but we've made life nice and pretty for you because we've added things like the orange, the green, the pink, the violet and the brown, and there's a bottle of that cleaning solution in there as well. So 40p a lot, and that's a good saving too. And you've seen
the colours that you use.
You've seen how little colours we've used tonight. We've just used a cup of colour. Those colours are going to last you a long while. And they're water-based, so basically they'll just go on and on and on, a bit like me, really. So I think we're done.
Yeah. Any questions, anybody? So we've just got to give them the 30 seconds. So ladies, any questions? So do we love it? Are we giving Dawn a big love and a like and telling her how marvellous she is?
No.
Eh? Oh, they're all coming through now.
I can't believe a word you're saying. Genuinely, I'm humbled that anybody is tuned in to watch tonight. So genuinely, thank you very, very much. Hopefully, by me dripping sugar all over the floor, you've had a bit of fun.
Are coming in. So all the love outs are coming in.
Hopefully, you've really enjoyed this evening. We've had a bit of a laugh, haven't we? We've had some fun. I can't say too much about what the future holds for me and Dinkydoodle Designs, but as anybody that knows me knows that I'm a pioneer in developing stuff and designing stuff and having a little bit of fun. Next time I come back here, we will have an absolutely storming episode for you when we're going to do some fun. January, apparently.
Yeah. January, something storming, can't be told.
Storming, Norman. Yes.
I know. But you'll have to wait till January. Okay then, so I just want to say a massive thank you, Dawn, for coming along. So it's been grateful. I'm very grateful for everybody who comes along, but everybody puts in a lot of effort when they come in on Monday night. They bring all their ingredients and they're under immense pressure here. And when they're building something, you've got to remember we're here for an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's a lot of time to you guys, but it's not enough time for us. If any of you were at home trying to put these things together at home, you'd like to spend a little bit more time and a bit more breathing space without everybody staring at you. No, we've done fantastic. But every Monday night when we are here under pressure, mainly because we're trying to do things fast so that you don't get bored. And if you were in your own home, you...
Yeah, 4 hours I would expect to take on that if you were doing that at home.
But how quickly and easily has she done that in such a short time, which is amazing.
Which is something I think the kids could manage. You could do that with the kids.
Well, I have to say, I've never airbrushed before and I thought that was very easy.
There you go, you see.
I think I'm marvellous.
I just think you've done a great job.
Yeah, and that lovely yellow, what's it called, Van Gogh? My Van Gogh dummy. Mummy. Dummy. I am a dummy. Anyhow, guys, so I just want to say a big thank you to you for joining us again tonight. Next week we've got Karen Davies joining us. She's got something new that she's bringing with her as well. Ooh. So I've just seen it tonight, so I can't tell you anything about that until next week. So we're really looking forward to Karen coming along. The week after it's me. You've got me, yes, I forgot, on the 9th of October. We might have an alternative guest yet, we're just waiting for them to confirm, but otherwise it will be just me. And then on the 16th we've got FMM Cutters Carol, I can't think what her name is, what's she called?
Carol Math.
Yeah, that's right. So a big thank you, give us 15 minutes, go and have a cup of tea and a wee, as I always tell you to do, and Dawn and I will be back to say a few hellos to everybody and answer any questions, and again tell you about the bundle kit. So that's a bye-bye from me.
Thanks so much, guys.
And a bye-bye from John and Maria.
Bye.